What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Gold Rush Weekly Watchlist. Uh, smaller amount of names. Move this mic over a little bit. Lesser amount of names on this list. So this should be fairly quick. Looking at, there's a few things on the economic calendar that we got to discuss real quick before we get into the charts. Let's see. So, new home sales data Monday. That's going to be one that's interesting a trend that's interesting to follow based on the Fed rate, decreasing over the next the rest of the year, right? The next couple of quarters. So the expectation is that this is something that they do to easing to potentially assist people into buying more homes. I know that Joe Biden has a program. I don't know if it's been put in place or if it's something that he's looking to run on and in terms of a platform for his reelection. But he's asking for, or the program is a potential $10,000 new home buyer assistance program, or people who move out of their first homes assistance program, one for either new home buyer or second time home buyer. On top of the federally mandated negotiable percentage that you pay to your realtor versus a previously federally mandated 3% on the buy side, 3% on the sell side. So there's a lot going on there, that may potentially shake out for some good plays, good profit. On the it trickles down. It goes from like banks, it goes into like home builders, home services, right? There's a bunch of different plays that can be made out of it, but it's something to watch. If you're interested in data, the new home sales data is something that I would watch for quite some time. So that comes out tomorrow. Consumer confidence data comes out on Tuesday. I bet that's going to be low based on the fact that everything costs twice as much as it always has. US Q4 GDP comes out tomorrow. GDP is usually a really big one. PCE inflation comes out on Friday. GDP comes out Thursday, PCE comes out Friday, and then we have power on Friday. So, kind of a mixed bag there, because there's some things that might have an effect on the market, and then there's something that definitely will have an effect on the market. Looking through some of these earnings for this week, we have, and I'm just going to rattle off some names. Some of these I'm not familiar with. For example, Bitcoin Depot, BTM, has earnings tomorrow. Data has earnings tomorrow. Data is like a Baidu, like one of those Chinese companies that provides, I believe it's online services of some sort. McCormick has earnings on Tuesday. GameStop has earnings on Tuesday in the afternoon. Who else? CCL has earnings on Wednesday morning. UNF has earnings on Wednesday morning. Restoration Hardware has earnings on Wednesday afternoon. Playboy has earnings on Wednesday afternoon as well. Thursday before open, we have nobody I really know here, so I'm not really gonna. I think WBA is an interesting one. Walgreens Boots Alliance has earnings Thursday morning. Vuzi has earnings Thursday afternoon. Who else? A lot of small, lesser known names here. And then nobody on Friday. So not really much on the earnings front. I think like WBA would be probably one of the more interesting ones. Just because it's like, it's like a CVS kind of vibe. Like it has the same type of effect on the market, same amount of market share, same technologies, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so let's get right into it. The first name before we get into it, let's go into broad market, take a look at what's going on, see if we can kind of figure out where things are going to continue, where things can pause, et cetera. So looking at this is SPX on a weekly chart. A lot of these are going to be weeklies just because, we've had you're either going to have one, two, three scenarios, right? You're going to have an outside week, which is a 2. Like for example, like this one, the range breaks outside of this range to the upside. That's a number 2 week. You're going to have an engulfing week, which is like a fully outside week, which we almost had one here. Let me see. Low. Yeah. We almost had one here. We missed it by $1, but that's when the range expands down and up, right? For example, how it did here. You see that although there's a doji here, the range came all the way down and made a new low, lower than the previous low of the previous week, and a new high higher than the previous high, right? So we have a range breaker to the upside or downside. We have a outside week like this, outside on both sides, and we have an inside week like this, right? So what we had here was we had a couple of two up, two up, range breaking to the upside continuously. This one broke both directions, and then the next week we had an inside week. Last week we had a number 2 breaking to the upside. What this shows me here, the story that this tells me here is, we had some resistance here, we broke through, had some resistance here, acted as support, flipped from resistance to support after 3 weeks, and then continued the rip. Because of this sideways consolidation, even though it kind of did expand the range here, it still closed within the previous range. Same thing here, closed within the previous range here. And this last week, it finally worked its way to make a new move to the upside. It's almost as if we were waiting for data these past couple of weeks, right? So what we're looking for, based on the consolidation for pretty much 3 weeks on this previous resistance level, I think we're going to get at least one more week of an upside move on this, depending on what, I think these earnings are inconsequential, but I do think that the consumer data, the home buying data, and the inflation, consumer confidence, all that stuff is going to play a big factor in it, the market for this week. So, so we'll see. We'll see whether it takes it up or down. But based on the price action, it looks like there's more upside. Next one is QQQ. QQQ, little similar colors, different vibe, right? Like we did have an up week here. We had a bullish engulfing week on this one where it broke down the range and went and made a new high. Same thing, we continued to the upside, came back, retested this previous resistance as support, broke the support, found a little bit of buying pressure at the bottom of this candlestick, and then buyers came and brought it right back up and actually broke and made it an all new high last week. So same thing. I mean, tech SPX is comprised by lots of tech. So the way that SPX goes, usually tech goes. It used to be the way that QQQ goes, SPX will go 100%, but as of late, we've seen a little bit of decoupling, and it's not always the case, especially when financials are strong and energy is strong. But in the meantime, so usually like you'll find like financials and energy a bunch together, or like sometimes you see financials and tech with energy lagging, or sometimes you see tech and energy kind of going sideways a bit between one of them breaking and then setting the market in whatever direction of the bigger one. So there's some weird confluences there, but QQQ up or down doesn't mean that SPY is going to go up or down the same way, right? It might go a little sideways, but for now, they actually look aligned. They look like they're going to both break out and continue to make a move to the upside. So that's what I'll be looking for with QQQ. Next one is what is this? XLE. XLE, and that's why I like the weeklies on this, because it's good to zoom out to see where things are headed, to see potentially how things are going to shake out. Now, looking at XLE on the weekly, we're back at this area where we rejected, 4 times in the past, right? 4 times strong rejections, trend changes every time we get back to this area. Now, the difference between those times and now is, every time that we approach this, we don't have the type of momentum that we have now. Each time that we've rejected, we've made a higher low, right? So, I mean, anything can happen. I'm not going to say that this time we're going to break through. This is XLE. This is not like, there has to be, the thing with XLE is that it's affected by other things in the world. It's affected by the energy market overall, the way that energy trades between countries and between companies, the demand that there is for energy. It's not like it's more of a commodity than anything else, because it's dependent on many factors, not just, somebody wants to buy an iPhone, like it doesn't matter, right? It does, like Apple and iPhones can be totally disconnected. Apple can set their price, and the market's going to say, "Oh, we like it at that price, or we don't." This is something totally different. This is energy. Everybody needs energy, right? So, and energy isn't traded in a vacuum. It's traded based on currencies and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot. So the point is, a technical chart's not enough to send this up, and a technical chart's not enough to say, you know what, we reach this level and we're going to break down. I do like the fact that we do have this rising support level, right? Buyers keep buying it up at higher and higher levels. And I do like the fact that we're price is wedging between these two areas here. So I'm looking for a continuation, based on the technicals. But again, this is something that really it doesn't really depend on technicals. It depends on the world. It depends on what's going on in the world, and all the other things that are related to energy in this world, right? So, but if it does break out, I would target that 96. 96 would be a target for this. Above 96, we have 98.77 or 99, let's just call it. And then above that, we got 101.52, which I believe is an all-time high for XLE. So, I mean, if this is poised to take all-time high, let's switch to the 12-month, or let's switch to the 1 month. If this is poised to take out the all-time high, I mean, now's the time, right? Otherwise, we do have a potential head and shoulders here loading, but I just don't see this coming to fruition unless there's something crazy, like some crazy catalyst that lines up to work out where this is going to break down hard, right? I just don't see it, especially like this is like a bull flag right here, almost like 3-year bull flag, 4-year bull flag, right? Double bottom after COVID, double bottom, and then just nice strong move to the upside, good consolidation. Looks like a potential continuation, right? This, if I'm going to run a trend-based fib on this just for shits and giggles, let's run it from here and pull up to the high and then come down to the low. And let me make this a little clearer for you. I was advised that my charts don't have great contrast, so I'm going to adjust. I've adjusted my chart in order to help you guys see a little bit better. So let me just do that. All right, cool. So I'm hoping that this is a little bit of an improvement for you all. So yeah, I mean above 91.80, which is where this right around where this previous resistance is, 93, 92, 91, around that level. Above that, we can target 96.88. I had 98 something. Above that, we got 101.96. That lines up pretty well. When you see confluences like this, that means that usually those levels are going to be intact. Above that, we got 110 or 109.19. The next one is XLF. XLF is currently at all-time highs. Right? XLF is currently at all-time highs. JPM leading the charge. JPM is one that we usually discuss on the call, and I'll give it a quick glance. But there's a different name I want to look at today specifically for financials. But this is a made all-time high, a little pullback because sellers always sell a little bit at all-time high. But I think there's a potential for continuation, especially since the rates are going to come down or they're slated to come down. So I think it works in the favor of the banks. All right, and the last one here is IWM. IWM. So I had this channel here with this level at $201.95, where we previously rejected and fell into this range. We've broken the range. We came back, broke it, came down, pulled back a little bit. Buyer stepped in and brought it right back up. And last week we set this previous resistance. We acted as support on it. So let's see what happens. Some of these levels are still intact. We still have 209.05. We still have 212.44. We still have 214.47 to take into account for XL or for IWM. And this is the monthly chart. So, things can shake out for quite some time. Right. So let's just keep that in mind. The next one, or the first one on our list, is Amazon. Let's do the weekly. So Amazon's casually sitting right near all-time highs. I remember when Amazon was trading back here, and it feels like it was stuck for a very, very, very long time within this range, and it was really tough for me to trade it back around this area. And now it's very easy for me to trade it. I love trading Amazon. It's one of my favorites. And the thing is, it doesn't always go up, so that's just something to keep in mind. But I do like the fact that we, kind of consolidated our way up, pulled back a little bit, retested the support, bounced, ripped right into this candlestick, and then kind of now we've been going sideways, discovering where price wants to go. Price goes up, price goes down. It finds where it needs to be, and usually, like if we get a rejection like this, we usually want to send it down, but then buyers stepped in and brought it right back to the open on this candlestick, right? This candlestick was a big battle. This one candlestick of this 1 week, that doji right there. It has like almost no body actually. Let's see, high 170 or open 174.31, close 174.42. So just a 9 cent, 9 pennies body, right? Like it's just, that's really insane. Right, you'll see the body as I zoom out a little bit, right? But they couldn't bring it any lower. They couldn't agree to bring it lower, right? Buyers and sellers were stuck here, and then buyers took control last week. So I want to see if buyers can continue to take control. If we need to close, in order for me to feel confident in Amazon, we need to close above the top of that candlestick right there, which is $180.14. Above that, we can retest the previous high of this week, which is 181.34. And then above that, I think we can work our way into make some of these previous levels, pay them a visit. Remember where price was here at 184 or 185.67, 188.65. Price memory, right? Test some of that memory, see what's up. So I'm looking for that with Amazon. Next one is NVIDIA. So for NVIDIA, I'm looking for, now let's just, some of these, I don't want to, some of these have levels set already. Some of these don't have levels. Some of these just are maybe worth just a discussion. NVIDIA is one of those that just right now is worth a discussion. So these past two candlesticks, last week and the week before that, are within the range of the week before that, right? So this range has been established. Bunch of sellers here, inside week, and then price broke above the range of the previous candle to make a new high, right? Not like a 52-week high or anything, but just a new high. Like we pull back and now we're working our way to go higher. So now the target above this candlestick, right? The high of this was 919.60. The target of this candlestick is 974 is the high. That's where we're headed. We're headed right back to 974. We rejected the lows of this candlestick where buyers stepped in and said, all right, let's go, take it higher. Now, and this is like almost like a very, it's not a full bodied candlestick, but there's a big body on this, and there isn't a bunch of sell pressure on the top of this, right? Obviously, there's a big wick here, but this is all buyers, right? If you break this down into two candles, it's one candle that opens here and comes down to the low, and there's another candle that opens at the low and comes all the way up to the high, right? So that's just all buying pressure, straight buying pressure here. Buyers overwhelming the sellers, especially after a doji like this. So it looks like we're headed to 974. Above 974, obviously it's $1,000 right there, and then above that, I mean, I could just run a trend-based fib on this like I did in the past. The last time we ran a trend-based fib on NVIDIA, it showed us what levels we would be stuck in within this area here, and that was over a year ago at this point. But they all worked. So trend-based fib is easily becoming one of my favorite tools, just simply because it always kind of shows out, right? So 959.85 would be a level. Then we have 1032, 1033, let's call it, above 1,000. So 959.85, high of this candlestick, 974, 1,000, and 1,032. And 1,000 for NVIDIA is very, very exciting. So I hope that you all are excited as I am with it. Next one is CVS. With CVS, we had some of these levels posted here, previous levels on daily chart, and we were looking for either a breakdown here, some levels, and the move to the upside. The major thing was that we had to trade within this box here, where it was previous range, where there was consolidation here prior to continuous move to the upside. We closed right underneath that. I mean, just at the box. Where did we close at? We closed at 78.48, and then my box is between 79.17 and 78.44. So we're in the box. We're just, we just shy of closing underneath the box. Also, the box is not perfect. I just kind of freestyled it. Just like this market is not perfect, right? So you can't go by penny dollar amounts. That's why pattern recognition, I think, especially if you're somebody who charts, pattern recognition is very, very important, and it makes your life easy. You're not looking for exact, precise math. If that's the case, you're trading on GEX, you're trading on options chains, and you're not on this call, right? Simply put. But and also, like, you're probably not talking to a lot of people, but because some of those people, they're very, very smart, and GEX traders, change traders. I've been working my way to understand it. I hope that I can add it to our toolbox here. But for right now, we're gonna stick with imperfect drawings of these ranges and trying to predict the reactions, just like we have, and we have successfully for the most part. So we want CVS to stay within this range here, go sideways along this level. We do have this falling resistance line that, again, if you were all here on the last call, point A and point B makes a trend line, and then you continue the line. So here's your point A. I have a point B right here. Now, this A is so far in the past that we don't know if it's still valid. So again, this might just break through and like nothing, like it doesn't even exist. So I just want to keep you aware of that. But if we do break above the weekly high here at 79.50, oh, you can't see my chart. Interesting. I thought I was sharing this whole time. My bad. All right. Well, thanks for the heads up. The people on YouTube see it, and anyone watching the replay will see it. So we were just talking about CVS. So yeah, we have this trend line that we started from this level here back in November 2022. That's point A, and point B is the candlestick here, January 2024, the second week of January in 2024 for our trend line. Now, again, this is such a long time ago that we don't know if this is going to remain intact. And then we got a good consolidation here. Actually, we have an inverse head and shoulders that formed here, that ripped to the upside, found some sellers, brought it back down, and we formed a new level of support above this previous level of resistance. So it looks like it flipped. Potential retest here on this candlestick, it worked, and then this strong candle broke all this range to the downside, broke right the range of these two to the downside, and then these two candles tested the bottoms and the tops of this range, and this last candle of last week broke through and made a new high for for this recent price action. So we're looking for it to continue, especially after like pretty much all this consolidation here. We want a continuation. So above 79.50. I would be interested to target the bottom of this range and then the top of this range at 81.42 and 83.25. Above that, we got 85. And then from there, we can start seeing some of these levels at 90. And then from there, we can start working our way up back to this, that level where we rejected hard back in 2022, November 2022. So that's what I'm looking at for CVS. Now, I said it, early in the call, I said that how I acknowledge how we normally talk about JP Morgan, and JP Morgan is just like strong, very, very strong chart, all-time highs, strong candlestick at the end of the move, which could mean potential exhaustion. Not sure. Don't really want to talk about it. What I do want to talk about is its counterpart, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has not broke out and made a new high, right? It's still within the range of the previous price action. This is very close to all-time high. We did get a strong pullback, double bottom, and then now we're flagging into the 50-day moving average. And finally, last week, Goldman Sachs broke above the range of all this consolidation. Now, as you know, price contraction leads to price expansion, and price contracted for a very, very long time on Goldman Sachs. So I think that there's a potential for this to make a very, very strong move into like 450 and change or so. So that's something I'm interested in for Goldman Sachs. I would advise anyone who's interested in trading banks would just stick there, keep your attention on Goldman Sachs. We will be talking about a lot more in the next couple of weeks. And if JP Morgan pays, we'll jump into JP Morgan as well. Like, who's going to say no to money? Next one's Tesla. Tesla, what was it about Tesla that I liked? So I still have a downside thesis on Tesla. I just Tesla's one of those that I don't necessarily have a play on. I just want to very much point out that there's an inside bar here on a weekly. Good consolidation. So bear flag, breakdown, good consolidation. I think there's going to be another break below the previous week's low, come back down to test this level at 152 and change. That's it. Don't know if it's going to happen. I do like the inside bar. It can go up or down. The 50 is way over here, so it might come back to the 50 before it goes down, but ultimately I think it goes down to 152. I also have a price target of 134, but I'm not going to get too aggressive on this call and talk about it. So that's that. Next one is Netflix. What I like about Netflix is, this is very, very close to all-time high, which is here at 700 700. Just call 700 or 701, whatever you're more comfortable with. So price is very close to that. The support is rising, but I do a lot of charting before I get on this call. I do a lot of charting on my phone first before I look at it on the computer because for some reason I get a better vantage point. And my phone usually looks like this, right? This is what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing a strong move to the upside, a little bit of a pullback, a little weakness on these two candlesticks, but nothing crazy. And then a strong rip on the next candlestick, inside bar, breakout bar, not quite an inside bar, definitely inside bar, right? Definitely inside bar. And then what we did was we pulled back to previous resistance and bounced on it on these two candlesticks. And now we got a breakout bar, a continuation breakout bar. So not as big as some of these bars, but we're breaking the range of the previous couple of weeks. Targeting still 639.97. Let me change the color of that. 639.97 is going to be the first target. The next target above that will be 663.20. Which are some previous weekly targets. And then above that, obviously, we're very, very close to all-time high. But I won't get too giddy on the targets right now, but I just want you to keep those. If you're trading Netflix, keep those in mind. Also, if there was some bad news to come out on Netflix, there's a potential. I say bad news for a reason because this thing was down bad for a long time, and now it's up. So there's no reason to think that it's just going to turn around and go down. But if it does, there's a nice pivot machine gun loading right here back into the 50-day moving average in case it wanted to touch it. So those are your levels for Netflix. Next one is TSM. TSM. What was it about TSM? Was it the daily? No, it was the weekly. All right. So TSM, what I like about TSM, and the reason why I like it is because we had good consolidation, strong move up with buyers and sellers both kind of fighting for this. A lot of sell pressure on this candlestick, brought it way back down here. And then buyers came and took the bottom of the range out, retested all these previous support, and a bunch of buying pressure here. So, if you were to take these two candlesticks right here, you would get a big hammer, right? Big higher shadow or upper shadow rather. The wick on the top, tall wick on the top, tiny wick on the bottom, and a body that sits right here, a little red body that sits right here. And the most important thing of that candlestick would be that big, massive wick that will be on top of it. We have that here. We have a big wick that took out the bottom of both of these ranges, and we have a little tiny body. But the thing is, and there are some sellers still sitting in this area. I bet there's a little bit of supply up here, but there's buyers active in this area. The buyers, I think, are the ones that are looking at full time frame continuity. When I look at it on the daily, you got green. Look at it on the weekly, you got green. Look at it on the monthly. You got green, right? Looking on the quarterly, you got green. Annually, you got green. So full time frame continuity to the upside. I think that buyers are in control, and I would love to see how it shakes out for TSM in the next couple of weeks. Break above 142.60, we got 146.70. Above that, we could target about half of this move, 151, and the rest of it will take us to 158 for TSM. So I'll be watching TSM. Obviously, next one's DKS. DKS it feels like a 3-bar play almost, right? Because we had this little consolidation here. We had a strong rip to the upside that was based on earnings. We had a resting bar. Price didn't break down. Price didn't really break above. I think there's a potential for this to rip above the high here and work its way into 250. The only thing is, at all-time high, for some of these, it doesn't happen right away. Usually happens, over the course of a few weeks. So we're going to see potential price action like this, 3 or 4 candles that rip all the way into 250. So I think 250 calls for, I would say, May at this point, or even maybe June. I would be interested to see how they're priced. Right, I would be interested to see how May and June 250 calls are priced. May and June 250s. TSM is relatively inexpensive, so I would assume that. I mean, when you buy time, obviously things change, but I'd just be interested to see what they look like. Those strikes. Those are probably the ones, and I bet you they have a bunch of open interest and a bunch of volume on them already. Or DKS rather. Sorry, DKS. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. DKS is trading at all-time high. There's no reason for it to stop now. The next one is Coinbase. Coinbase is one of my favorite weekly charts. So let me just zoom out on this real quick. IPO and all that nonsense came down, consolidated on a weekly basis here for 7-8 weeks, and then ripped to the downside. Did a bunch of stuff, came up, found a little bit of supply here, bounced, found some support, 3-bar play to the upside, and now we kind of like retested the top of that range here. We are in a previous range. As you can see, we have this box here. I'm just going to pull it off to this side. I don't think that we're necessarily, it's not going to come to play just yet. But I don't want to ignore the fact that it's there. But I do like this weekly chart. We have a nice pullback, nice rip to the upside, strong move up, sell pressure that broke down below 50% of the previous candlestick, and then some buy pressure that broke into 50% of the previous body there. So I think that this has more momentum. Obviously, this is tied very closely to crypto and to alt market and everything like that, Solana and all that stuff that's going on. So I think that Coinbase has a lot more to go. I think that maybe they can see 300 in the near future. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like 300 calls in our gold mine at some point. And then full time frame continuity for the most part. The only one I'm interested in is like the 12 month is bullish, right? 12 month is bullish because we have the first bar, breakdown bar, inside bar, continue to the upside, broke above the previous range. So I think that we can work our way up into some of these levels here: 300, 325, 340, 350, 360, etc. For Coinbase. Let's look at the quarterly on this. Yeah, quarterly looks good, especially like strong move down, good consolidation, retest, breakdown, good consolidation, strong move up, continuation. So maybe one more candlestick to put us above this level here where this wick is at 294. So I think 300 is next for Coinbase. The next one is Visa. Now, Visa, I'm interested in Visa because it's all-time high. It's nice. Good buying pressure. We have, and this is a little bit contrarian, we do have full-time frame continuity to the upside. The only thing with this, though, is, all these wicks. I'm going to borrow this for a second. All these wicks that are painted here. Mad wicks up here. Little wicks to stop the buying pressure. Wick to make a doji. Wick to, this same wick turned this into a red candle. Next time we try to undo it, came back. Wick to bring it back down. Right, wick to bring the price back down. Next time we made it, wick to bring price back down. It did go higher, but bunch of sellers sitting in here. This is the equivalent of that other one that we were talking about. I think it was DKS. Right, let me see. It was DKS or TSM? No, TSM. Yeah, TSM. Crazy, gnarly wick here. Bunch of buyers. So same thing here, right? Same thing for Visa. Gnarly wick on the top of this. So it looks like sellers might potentially want to take control of this. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and jump the gun and be like, yo, we jump it in the puts immediately. But it's something to watch. I mean, we have a potential pivot machine gun here, break down below all these weeks low. And we got a potential pivot machine gun even through the 50. I mean, the 50 can act as support there, but all those wicks are very powerful. I would like to see a full body form here in this area before I change my thesis on this. And it can, and it probably will, but if it doesn't, I'm shorting it, right? Especially like now, puts are probably very inexpensive. Let it form something here, and then let one little wick show up. I bet you the puts are going to start rising in price. So something that's interesting. Next one is DocuSign. I like DocuSign because it has, good strong move to the upside, pulled back, continuation move, found supply, fell back down, 200-day moving average, bounced, and now we're above the 50. We formed an inside bar. It's really the inside bar that I'm interested in. Underneath the low, we got the 50-day. I doubt that's going to break down. Above the high, even like let it trade above 58.27. Above that, we got 59.30. Above that, we got 60. And then above that, we can target some of these levels here. I know there's a bunch of shorts in DocuSign because this is a Kathy Wood stock. So nice strong move to the upside above these past couple of weeks. Potential, into like 65 and change or so. So maybe 65s for April or something like that, or maybe 65s for May would be something that I'll be interested in for DocuSign. Next one's HLT. HLT is another favorite chart of mine. Again, there might not be a play here. Strong consolidation, strong rip to the upside. Good consolidation for 3 weeks, strong rip to the upside. Good consolidation for 2 weeks, strong rip to the upside. Good consolidation for 3 weeks, strong rip to the upside, incoming. So I think that above 211.83, which is the high, is that the all-time high for this? 211.86 rather, is the all-time high for this. Above that, we got 215. 215, pretty quick. 220. Right, 215, 220. Is what I'll be watching for this. Now, a lot of these, you guys all have your own style. You guys have your own setup. You guys have your own conviction on some of these things. A lot of these that I'm talking about on this call, as you know, if you're in the group, I don't really make plays on them. But some of these, I'm not going to give you the guidance. Like, this is one of those that, like, you should take the play. Look for a play that works out for you best for HLT, because this thing has been absolutely ripping. I've been talking about this since it broke out back here for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think I called the play once, and that play went 100%, and I never called it again because it was just kind of boring too. But and I like volatility. Oh, how things have changed. AMD. So with AMD, I'm just interested to see. We're currently at this area of previous resistance here. We're finding a little bit of support on it. We have the 50-day moving average sitting right there as well. This is a strong move down, though. Look at this bunch of sellers sitting on the top of this candlestick, brought price down, made a new low, came back and made a brand new low. We're sitting at this area where there's a bunch of volume, so this is an area where it can potentially bounce. But if it does break down below this level, I'd be interested to target some of these previous levels down here. Let me move this one down. Right, those previous levels will probably be what I'll be targeting for AMD. If it does want to work its way back up, get above 183, I'll target 185. Above that, we got 190, 195, 200 for AMD. So that's the range that I'll be working within this week. AMD is, I think, much heavier weighted than we think it is, right? Because AMD and NVIDIA usually go in the same direction. These charts look a little different now, so they've been decoupled. And they are on different parts of the supply chain. But AMD is going to be one to watch for sure over this next couple of weeks. We always watch AMD. We always talk about AMD. Between me, Jake, S, somebody's mentioning AMD, right? So next one is CAT. CAT has been hitting all fresh highs for the past 10 weeks or more, right? Ever since it made this move here, pulled back, and then just all new highs every week. It kind of consolidated on these weeks. This consolidation gave for a strong move. And it's been hitting each and every one of these targets. Do you see where the trend-based fib is? Let me go ahead and just draw it in white so that you can see it a little bit more clearly. Consolidated move, rip, make a new high, come back, make a new low. And that's a trend. Everything in the future is trend-based fib. So those are your levels. I would just adhere to these levels. Like, it even closed, 15 cents below this level here. So if it does break above 358.27, I want to see a target 370.67. Above that, we got 400. 400 is going to be interesting. It might not go straight into this level. It might come and pull back a little bit and then work its way back up. Usually, this is a Fibonacci, so usually it'll do like something like this, and then it'll go sideways for a long time before it makes this move. This is like a wave one, or sorry, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is it A, B, C, D, E? Whatever it is. Let's do one for now. 1, 2, pullback, 3, continuation, 4, long diagonal, and then 5 is the end of the move. Maybe, it's fib, so you don't know where it starts or where it stops. Maybe this is like, it could easily also just be like fibs here, right? This could be like, it could be like a 1, 2, right? Let me draw here, which is why I really don't use like the regular fib as we, it's just, it's weird because like it could be like, and then you start talking about Elliott wave and it gets nested and it's like all kinds of stuff. You got this one that's like super just OD, right? This one's crazy. Like this wave, this final wave here is just really insane. Like, it's just crazy. Look how crazy it goes. And then so that's on like the 12-month, for example, and then it could be one on the weekly, it could be one on the daily, it could be one on the 30-minute. Like, it just, there's no rhyme or reason to it, and you can really get lost in it. So I'm just not gonna waste our time. But I do like it for the weekly. I think it might go sideways a little bit in this area. This is the same area that NVIDIA got caught in before it ripped into 1,000. So it could do the same thing. It could kind of get caught in this area here between 370.67 and 326. Bounce around before it works its way into that 400. So that's what I'll be watching for CAT. Disney. So I'm loving Disney. I think we broke out of the inside bar to the upside. We have yet to take out that $118.18 target. Bunch of sellers sitting in this area. The sellers so strongly brought the trend down. Now we're back up. And so I would like to see us form a candlestick right within this wick. And then from there, we have confidence that it can work its way into the 123 level. So I'll be watching Disney for that. The big thing with Disney is they were in fighting with Florida government, and I don't hear much about it anymore. So on the technical, it looks good. It looks like it wants to continue above 118.18. We got 123.37. Next one is Airbnb. Airbnb, good higher highs and higher lows, potential like inverse head and shoulders action over here somewhere, but higher highs and higher lows for the most part. And then what I did like about Airbnb, which I want to point out, and the real reason why it's on this call right now is because of the inside bar. We had an inside bar that formed 2 weeks ago. Last week we broke above the inside bar. We kind of a little bit of sellers stepping in to keep it within the range. So I really want to see what they do in terms of bringing price into this area here. Right, same thing. Fill that wick up a little bit, even go sideways in this box and then work its way up. We can come back and retest that 50-day moving average. We haven't tested it in about since the beginning of January, or the middle of January rather. So that can happen at any time. But based on this consolidated move, sell pressure here, it seems like there's no more sell pressure. Let's see. Let's just see what happens. I think it's going to go to the upside. People are bullish on it. Airbnb's massive FCF, I don't know what that means, could make Airbnb worth 26% more at $2.11 per share. What is FCF? Let's see if this talks about what FCF is. Free cash flow. Okay. So somebody who's bullish wrote an article at Barron's about free cash flow, Airbnb, how it can make it a little bit more profitable. Or bar chart, rather. Somebody at bar chart. Good. So we'll see. That works out for us because it brings it higher. So that's what I'm looking for, Airbnb. Next one is Etsy. Etsy is inside bar with sell pressure on a downtrend in full time frame continuity to the downside. I want to see it finally break that level at 65.88. Nothing has changed here, right? Nothing has changed here. I want to see it break that 65.88, break down and work its way into that 61. Underneath that, we got 56. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. We got the inside bar, bunch of sell pressure sitting here. Bring it down. Nice and simple. Next one's Uber. I have about 5 more. Next one is Uber. So Uber is has been on an absolute tear. And then we found a little bit of there's a potential for 3-bar play here. It didn't break above the range. When it did break above the range, sellers came and brought it back down. And then, they failed to bring it all the way down below down here. They didn't undo this candlestick pretty much. And now you got buyers active with a bullish engulfing candle on this one. Strong buying activity. Even though a little bit of sellers brought it down, buyers brought it right back up. And it's closing within the higher part of this range. And I guess I could just use this, right? And then, so what I'm looking for is a break above this area here to work its way truly into this Fibonacci ladder. We haven't, maybe we can adjust it at this point. I'm going to do it temporarily so we can see what it looks like, but I'm going to move it back once we're done. We got some, if you wanted to play up at it, we kind of stayed within the range of this candlestick. We didn't really break down below it. We broke on this candle and then buyers brought it right back up. So it kind of undid some of it. And then we're sitting at the level where we rejected 2 weeks 2 weeks every time we've been here. So I'm going to move it back. I still like this one a little bit better. I want to see what price can do above this level. And if it turns out being something different, I'll adjust it. Actually, to be quite honest with you, it really should probably go here, right? Like if I really want to be proper about it, I would draw it there. I would draw it there. So what I'll do is I'll leave this one on, and then we can compare it over the next couple of weeks. I'll leave it on in the background so we can compare the next couple of weeks. But I think that Uber is going to continue to move to the upside. Strong move, sideways consolidation, tried to drop it, and buyers brought it back up. So I think that we're gonna work our way higher. I'm gonna be looking for it above 82.14. I'm actually gonna go ahead and set my alert at above 82.14. I'll leave it there, 82.13 at alert. Because once we get to that level, I know that there's gonna be a lot of momentum to bring it to the upside. Next one is RCL, Royal Caribbean. Sitting at a level where it's been previously a bunch of times on a weekly. and every time it's come down here, it's fallen really hard, right? Fell hard, again, fell hard, and again, fell really, really, really hard. It lined up with COVID, this one, obviously, but, and now we're back. The last couple of times that we've been here, it fell a little bit, one, on this one, two, and now we're just ripping right through that level, right? So, all-time high for RCL actually is last week. We made a new all-time high. So if we can maintain this level, fill up that wick right there, fill up that wick with some price action. 140 and 150 are next. 140 is right here, and then 150 is on deck for RCL. And these things tend to do really well. I mean, people, they pay dividends. Actually, they don't pay dividends. I thought they did. Actually, they might. Hold on, let's see. No, they don't. They don't pay dividends. I think I'm thinking of CCL. But I said they pay dividends, but what I really wanted to say was old people love buying shares in RCL. And I think that everybody should buy shares in RCL just because it's a company that's not going to go anywhere. Even when they get bad news, they still do really well in terms of their share price. So if you're interested, I think it's going to break out. I think we might have a play on it in the next couple of weeks. 150 probably for April will be a good play. For RCL. So if you're interested in it, I will go ahead and just add that to your April and even May 150s, so you can give it more time to develop. Add that to your. If you guys keep watch lists on contracts as well, just add that. Keep it there. Paper trade it, whatever you want to do. Next one is Google. Google. The reason why I like Google. The main reason why I like Google is because of this breakout bar, strong bounce. This breakout came out of the news of Apple potentially partnering with Google for their Gemini algorithm. Apple will just expand their market. It would just pretty much explode their market, right? I mean, obviously, my phone has Google Maps and all that stuff and G Suite and all that on it, but this is a different type of partnership. I mean, this gives. I'm sure that. And I don't know the terms of it, so I don't know if Apple gets exclusive right to the information that they acquire, or if Google shares in that. I don't know what the terms of the deal are, but the fact that they made a product that a big juggernaut such as Apple is interested in purchasing, that speaks very highly of their product. So that's good for Google's share price. That means that Google's engineers are right, and all this stuff. It's just all overall positive for them. So we did come back to this area. This is an area of supply. Coincidentally at all-time high, so nothing new there, but every time we come to this area we got sell pressure. Same thing happened here, little sell pressure that brought it down 200. They bounce, and then the news came out, and now we're here. So I want to see a break above that 153.78, which is all-time high, above 153.78. 160 is on deck. Above 160, I guess I could drag it above 160. We got 168, 160. And I'm not even going to draw a trend-based fib because then you'll screw your face up so ugly based on where the numbers of this thing can go, But think about it. Here's your A, there's your B, here's your C. 190 easily, right? Right, that's if this thing shakes out. Not that one, this one. Right, 185, 197. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it off because I don't want to give myself FOMO. But I like Google to the upside. I think it's strong. I didn't understand quite the reason why I was pulling back, but here we are. So I think it's gonna make a continuation move. So I'll be keeping an eye on Google. Next one's Baba. Baba right now looks beautiful to short. Obviously, full time frame continuity to the downside. Every chart is bearish on this. There is support sitting here. Let me just zoom out. Yeah, I mean, every time we come back to this area, that's where buyers step in. I just think that we have some room down to 60 on this, personally. Now the one thing that doesn't work in the favor of this thesis is the fact that China will, the Chinese government will do whatever they need to do to inflate this. They'll prop, because their government, the value in their government is the value of their companies because of the way that their society is set up. Whatever the case is, I don't want to say it on this call because I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not trying to end up bagged and tagged with a bag over my head in the back of a van, taken to Chinatown. It's not far, and actually Chinatown in New York City is one of my favorite places. But, if their companies look bad, the country looks bad. That's a bad look. So So it can come down and break down, and then some technical analyst from Taipei or whatever is going to be like, yo, now we got to send it up, otherwise we show weakness, and then China's going to be like, all right, we're buying Baba, and then it just rips. If that doesn't happen, this looks like it's ready to rip down, break below this level here at 72.04. Underneath that we got 70. Underneath that we got 66. I think this can get as low as $60. So I like Baba puts for this week. Let me just quickly take a look at PDD. Nasty sell pressure. Even though PDD is in an uptrend, let's look at Baidu. Baidu and Baba are pretty closely tied together. And Baidu has a nice inside bar at the bottom of this trend, right? Nice little inside bar. Baidu might be a nice little short play too. And usually, like, this is my workflow. So funny. Somebody will mention, or either somebody will mention it, or I'll be looking at it and I'll be waiting for it. The few times that I'm looking at Baba in the market, and I'll put out a Baba play and I'll put out a Baidu play without even looking at the chart. I won't even look at the chart. I'll go and I'll look at the options chains and I'll look at the strike and I'll be like, oh, is it valid? All right, cool. Is it going in the same direction that Baba's going in based on the options chain? Yes, send it. That's my thesis with Baidu. So Baidu, I don't even look at the chart. Like you can see, I don't even think do I have anything marked up on this? Like I don't even have anything marked up on this. I don't even look at this chart, right? But usually whenever Baba's a play, usually Baidu's a play, and Baidu usually pays much faster than Baba does. So we're looking out for Baba and Baidu this week. Next one is, and this is my second to last one, and we'll look at ES one more time, and then we're done. Next one is BBY. So there's like an inverse head and shoulders kind of thing going on here. There's like a double bottom kind of going on over here. But what I really like on this is, the thing with like Best Buy is I don't know if they're gonna stay in business. There's a Best Buy down here in the city on Broadway, right by Houston. So like downtown, like above one block north of Soho, pretty much. And they've been there for like a good probably like 10 years that I can remember, right? At least 10 years. And Best Buy is a large company. I used to work for Best Buy a long time ago, and very, very large company. And that Best Buy, I was walking by, I usually take Broadway sometimes and walk down, and I walked down and they were closed. Like they closed the store. Actually I used to work in the one in Union Square. If anybody knows the city, I used to work in the one in Union Square, and the same day that I noticed that the one downtown was closed, or down by Soho was closed, I noticed that the one in Union Square was also closed. Now, I don't know if it was the main store or the mobile where I used to work at, but mobile was definitely closed. I don't know if the main store is closed. The main store down off of Houston, next to Houston is definitely closed. Real estate prices, commercial real estate especially, is extremely expensive in a city. But like, let's be honest. Who's going to Best Buy? Like when Amazon exists, who's going to Best Buy? You want to get a charger for your phone, go to the bodega if you're in the city, or go to the 100 Apple stores that are here, right? Or just go to Amazon like everybody else, or just like steal one from somebody's desk or somebody, or like your family, your friends, and just steal it. Nobody's going to Best Buy, So I don't know. The point of all that is I don't know if they're on the verge of like bankruptcy or if they've already announced the bankruptcy. I don't know if it was Best Buy, like, BBY or BBBY that announced bankruptcy. I'm pretty sure it was BBBY, actually, now that I'm saying it. I just don't know. So, like, I don't know if, like, this is going to stop trading one day while we're in, mid-calls or something. But I also don't know if they're pivoting. Like, I don't know if there's a reason. So, the reason why I bring this long base up is, let's look at Coinbase. Coinbase had this long base down here, long base that we were just waiting for it to break out of before it started making moves like this. BBY, contingent on them staying in business, they have this long or even like transforming their business, right? Because Coinbase is not going anywhere. Best Buy is closing down stores, right? So even like that kind of goes against my thesis. But I do like the strong move to the upside. A lot of buying pressure. They stopped it on this week. They couldn't bring it down. Inside bar previous week or the following week, and then this last week breakout into starting is working its way into the upper range of this candlestick. So maybe we just trade it for one more week and then they shut down fully next week. I don't know, but I do like it above last week's price into the previous week's, the previous pivot's price at 86.11. Above 86.11, we can try to test the top of the range again here at $90.32. And then above 90.32, we can come back and try to test some of the, even higher than that. We got 98.18. If they're still in business, who knows? Last one, BX. So what I like about this chart is, broadening it out and just kind of zoom out. You had COVID down here, and you had that kind of consolidation, strong rip to the upside. And now it kind of pulled back, made a cup, consolidation over here, strong consolidation with new support and resistance flipping a bunch. And now we broke out, we pulled back into the 50, and this is just like premium crunch, theta, all kinds of stuff over here. What I like about it is I had set some targets. The last time that I charted this was, I believe it was on this week here, the week of February 20th. And, we haven't really broken out of that range. This past week, we came and tested the highs and the lows of this, right? So strong consolidation. I think that, was this off, bro? That's fire. That just threw me off. Oh, and this is Blackstone, by the way. This is Blackstone. So, they're a large investment firm. I think they have, not to be confused with BlackRock, who owns the whole world, right? But Blackstone is yeah, we're moving right now. We're moving. Yeah, you just threw me off. But I like the fact that it just kind of is ripping the range, right? Ripping the range, just like that van in the GIF that Aisha posted. Ripped it to the downside, touched the low, made a new low, and then worked its way back up, made a new high, and came back down. So it just seems like there's some volatility here. Wherever direction this forms, whether it's up here or back into this range, whichever way it goes from here is where it's going to go, I believe. I think it looks like it wants to go to the upside, especially with full time frame continuity to the upside. You got the weekly here. You got the 1 month is green, even though it's a doji, crazy ass doji. You got the quarterly is green. Well, the quarterly is red. But let me just see. Yeah, but we broke the high of the previous week. Actually, before I guess, let me go ahead and just add the. I don't want to guess here. This is important. Otherwise, this changes the thesis a little bit. Now it looks like it's a little. It looks like potential time frame continuity. What is it? Strat Assistant. There it is. Strat Assistant. All right. So where is it? And then let me just add. Okay, so quarterly is red because price is lower, even though we broke out and made a higher high on this quarter than we did on this quarter. I'm not gonna try to finesse this. To me, on the weekly back, it's all full time frame continuity, but the quarterly is not lying, right? The quarterly is not. It's not lying to us. It's not lying to us. Now, there's strong time frame continuity to the upside, especially locally, right? Weekly, monthly. I want to see it continue to work its way up. Let me get rid of the Strat Assistant before it drives me nuts. I want to see it continue to the upside. So I'm looking for some sort of price action in this range here before it can, maybe go sideways a little bit. But then once it rips, I think it's going to get into 140 and 150. Now, on this one, I definitely want to do a trend-based fib. Because I think that there is potential for a nice strong move on this. Pull back to this level here. It's just consolidating between the first two levels, so it hasn't even really started the move. And yeah, so 142, 150, 159. And an all-time high on this is right around that. It's just funny how these things work out. It's right around that $150 20 level mark. It's actually at 149.76, so right around 150. So yeah, loving BX for an upside move. This might be something you want to buy leaps on, especially with all that time range, that price range here getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Let's look at ES real quick. I'm gonna start looking for some leaps because I think that you look at them now, you start watching leaps before you buy them, and I think that there might be some potential for some leaps to play out uh, over the next couple of years, or 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Um, so right now, inside bar going crazy. I mean, good consolidation to the upside. This is the weekly on ES. Good, strong move, good consolidation, continuation. Inside bar breakout last week, so I think we continue. If we don't come back and retest this, we might come back, put a little doji, a little bottom of a wick right here, and then work our way up. But we're at 5,200 on ES, which is really insane, very insane. If there were any that I would be interested in buying leaps on, it would probably be Apple would be one of them. Uh, although the Department of Justice launched a lawsuit with them recently. Where did that go? Where did that go? There it is. Keep losing it. So that's something to watch. I don't think that's going to shake out to be much, but it can. It's the Department of Justice, they're the big leagues. So we'll see how that shakes out. But Apple's been here before a bunch. Apple was one of the first ones to turn around. I think Microsoft was the first one to turn around. They've obviously fully diverged at this point. Apple almost doesn't even trade with QQQ because QQQ does not look like this. Apple does look like this. Apple actually looks like Tesla to me a lot, right? So not hit as hard, but it does look very hurt right now. So Apple is probably one that I'm going to be interested in looking at for 200 calls for like next year. But I want us to be able to trade with a little bit more peace. The thing with the leaps and even like monthlies, it's tough because you don't know, like, news changes so fast and the market changes with it that you don't know. You can't, like, I feel bad like throwing my money into something that I can't even sell for another year. I gotta hope that it goes up for the whole year. The first few times that I played that, it did, but there's been plenty of times where we bought leaps where they went to shit, right? It was like $200, $300, $400. Sometimes it just goes to shit. So it's tough. It's a tough ask, but at least I think Apple can make it back to the 200-day moving average at some point, right? Come back and retest it at some point, even if you want to go down. But that's it for me, guys. I appreciate you being on a call with me. We've been on the call for about an hour, so 1 hour is enough. So thank you guys for being on this call with me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Replay will be up shortly. And hopefully, hopefully we plan, and hopefully this market goes according to plan this week. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Peace.